Hey, good morning, everyone. What's up, FH? So sorry. Most of my wins also come from following through, so 50% of the tap play up close. Nice. Good trade, man. That's a pretty good longer swing in there. Yeah, I was long from last night. Let's refresh because I think the gamma levels are here. Gamma levels are here. The gamma levels are here. There's still a negative gap. That's crazy. Putting at the call wall. We're hitting the call wall a little bit. I want to see how this gap holds. I was long last night. I guess all my contracts got filled, so I don't have a position. So as you can see here, I was long last night. I'm trying to see if I can get re-entry, but I want to see how this gap holds right now. I mean, the main area is going to be the priority high, obviously, to keep a reference for, but I was long here at 69, then scaled at 81, scaled another one at 92, scaled another one at 14. So I have no contracts coming into right now. Same thing with the NQ. NQ, I underestimated how much it would go up overnight. NQ, I was long. I got scaled at here for about 50, 60 points. And then the last contract I had for 160 points. Yeah, 160 points. Because I was long from 130. 120, I'm sorry, 120. This is pretty much in the same trade. Yeah, it looks like it. I think you got a better fill, 65, you said? So that was probably the best entry there. You probably got in on a little dip there. Or I'm not sure if you swung it from yesterday. Yeah, same trade, I guess. Definitely. You said you were targeting 25% of the range from last week. What level was that? Around 720s? I went to sleep. Oh, not bad. 50%. Okay, good. 25% above now. Okay. Very good. Well, nice trade. Way to get filled overnight. Right now it's just about digestion. See what we do. I mean, or how we hold up. Yep. But what I do know is that there's certainly shorts underwater. Yeah. There's definitely shorts underwater on the S&P. From yesterday's sellers at 80s. Let's see how they hold up today. Only first if they got it in. Yeah. 724. Yeah. I guess we'll see what they do. I mean, chips are the ones that gapped up, which I'm surprised by. I see a path to 745, honestly. If they can hold, they need to hold 701 or so, I would say. Why is my current month value different on each one? Where's the current? Get it from there. Yeah, I did. Okay, cool. If we get it above the current month value, if we can hold above that 703 area, I really don't see why not. We can't trade 745. I was saying it yesterday at the end of the stream. You know, holding above 80s would be the first one, and then the second milestone would be above that current month value low. Because right now is at 703. Yesterday was at 714. Yeah, backtest levels, yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure if they can do it either, but you know, if they do it, look, I wouldn't be surprised if they do it on the catalyst, on an NVIDIA report catalyst, which would be messed up, but that's, I mean, they would complete the backtest. Yeah. That squeeze on the NQ is bad, man. We'll see what happens here. Kind of green here coming into the day. As long as we hold 780s, we're pretty good. I want to see if we can get along as close as possible to that area for continuation. I need to see a dip. I'm down a little lower. All wall right now is holding as resistance. Where's the call wall, NQ? Oh, I don't even have it on my screen. I don't like to use the call wall on NQ. It doesn't work. $724 was definitely prior support. Support never tested as resistance. Yeah, no, it didn't. It came just shy of testing it from below. It failed. It was a strong support area too. It was right here. It come shy of it every single time. They're holding the gap up currently. Alright, Q's really pushing here. It's I'm only kind of sad that I in a limit order so on the NQ on the last lot. Would have liked to have trailed that one. Now I think the NQ has a lot of outperformance to do still, relatively speaking. If we can hold them on that point of control, where are we at? Yeah, we held from above there. Yeah, if we can breach here, we got room. Like 700, 800. Okay. We have a gap and go still kind of open, so not really a high conviction data. short the gap. Want to kind of get long with the gap, so I'm waiting to see if give me opportunity to get long here. The 700s are, yeah, they're a wall. It's a monthly level, you know. Coincidentally, there's a call wall there, but it's a monthly level. I do think they can break it. Just I don't know if it's gonna be now or post Nvidia report or what. It's Friday's value high. Gotcha. I do want to have the 2-day value areas lined up. I don't have them on my charts. I always have the prior day. I have the prior day, weekly, and monthly, so I do need to get those two. I want to say I'm probably gonna wait until, yeah, like 680s for a long. I want to see like maybe, yeah, the prior day high tested. That's pretty much what I'm going to be waiting for, is the PTH to test and go from there. You doing it? Darn it. Yeah, the NQ. So this would be the ideal scenarios. We both get priority high, the priority high retest, and then the priority high retest on both of these. Ideally in tandem, but we'll see. Let's see. S&P 1. Here's the reason. Another reason why I want to wait for that 80 area to trade on the S&P. There's a lot of net delta, outside delta that stuck potentially if they haven't already sold their positions between the 7671 and 681, where there was a lot of clustered selling yesterday. Right here. Bids were pushing yesterday, and then sellers showed up. Selling right there. Oh, look at that. It's like 2,000, 14,000. Wow. A lot of selling below 92. On the DOM right here, you can see from 92, from 93 down, it's 550, 100, 200, 400, 900, 165, 100. Just a lot of clustered selling there. So a few points before we tap the prior day high, so let's see what they do once if it taps into it. Well, I think you're here. Don't forget to put lotion on, okay? Better get rewarded there. I think, I mean, yeah, for the selling right now, it's definitely intentional selling down for lower prices. I don't know if that's a good idea. I mean, they've been getting rewarded for their sell side breakdowns. Essentially, what it looks like, it's forming a failed breakdown setup right there at 92. Right, so if they reclaim 92 based on all that selling that came in, this becomes a failed breakdown setup with all that selling that takes place there. Right, the selling on the DOM, you can see it started from 93 down. So if they reclaim above this, they potentially can have a failed breakdown, which I'll try based on that because of all that delta there. But I've only tried small. I'm not going to size into that one. For now, they're in favor until that level reclaims. I don't have a delta print on the NQ, or a DOM on the NQ, but I do have a delta profile, and looks like all the selling started below 300, 310 on the NQ. So 310 is going to be the reclaim on the NQ. Somewhere around there. There's a bid right there for 500 that just showed up passively at 90. He showed up at the bid and then they sold aggressively into him, and so far I haven't traded below him. No, they have. So that tells you something. Like, there's a bid that showed up there at 500. I'm not sure if the intent was to buy and hold or for a long setup, but it was certainly placed at the bid, and then they aggressively sold into them and filled it as an ask or as an offer. I'm telling you, the sellers are pressing here pretty aggressively. They're flipping the delta column there at 89 positive. Buyers are trying to kind of flip the tape here. Hopefully it's just fueling. It looks like it could be fuel. We'll see how the delta kind of develops, but so far there's a cluster of selling between 90 to 93. Holding above that, I would say, provides some fuel to break maybe back into the call wall or just above. See, they're in favor right now, the sellers, as long as we're below 93. Ugh. It tested the priority high, probed into it. Not much volume coming into it. Oh yeah. I would have liked to have seen. I mean, I would have, if I was a bear, I would have liked to have seen, price flush, but and volume continue into that priority high. So far, it just tapered off. The only thing is the NQ does have volume as it lows lower, so I'm really convinced that bulls bears fail here until NQ and does something similar. NQ just kind of kissed the priority high. Looks like it maybe hit it or not. I missed it by a few ticks. I didn't quite trade it. Yeah, the lack of volume. Lack of volume is looks like shit. The way they traded into the priority high on S&P is very similar to how they traded into last week's low on yesterday morning. That's yesterday morning that Dom did the same thing. It traded into the prior week low between, what was it, 658, 662, where I got long yesterday. It traded very thick, and then as soon as it got into 62 and below, it just, like, the volume just disappeared. And it looks similar right now as S&P trades below the PDH, but you gotta wait, There was lack of interest to sell yesterday below 62. And that's the reason I got long, really. It's just the lack of interest to sell below it. There happened to be a put wall there too. I mean, that kind of added a confluence, but that wasn't really the reason. Or holding below. This is the area more or less that I wanted to trade into. So let's see what they do here. I'm going to give this like a 10-point spread here to see if it can test down to 70. What, 75, 70, 78? This could be a look above and fail. So a gap above and fail and come lower on the S&P. You could be having the look above and fail setup you were looking for yesterday, or you mentioned, if this trades back below 78. Like this could be a look above and fail if it does this. Essentially, like comes in, bounces, tests this area, and then rejects, and it goes. Right, because on a higher time frame, you have like a, yeah, there we go. A higher time frame, you have a breakout around here. This is the breakout area. And if you could just bounce here, reject this area, come in, and fail again, for sure could have a look above and fail. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not really leaning on that trade setup. I'm leaning more long than anything, so just pointing out what I see potentially. I'm more inclined to take the long. You done quant research on shorts over the what you got? Did you find out? So what is quant research? What does that mean? 2.5 years, not bad. They got smoked on failed breakouts, or oh, backtest. Oh, okay. I was like, oh man, what is that? It's like an extra layer of information I'm missing. What do you mean they got smoked on, like failed breakout setups? What was the win rate there? So they got test 25% of the previous range. Any lower is very unlikely. Yeah, failed breakout. So I'm 50%. My goodness, that's not even worth it. I mean, what's the reward factor on that? I mean, I guess you can make it work if it's like 5 to 1 or something, or 3 to 1. Because there's periods where failed breakdowns have a low win rate, but it's just during certain regimes too. It really varies. Is barely over 1.2. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that means you got to be getting all the right setups. If you get the wrong ones over a period of time, it's just gonna be sizing and everything, but that's not. It's feasible, but not very high at all. You're better off doing something else. Oops. Yeah, to be perfect. Yeah, because if you get the wrong, you don't. That doesn't give you enough slack for like you know, mismanagement of the trade. So you get like a 0.7 instead of 1.2. You know, that throws off the whole thing. You do that over a few trades. Was this on the S&P or both NQ and S&P? %70 of the time. That is insane. There's no way. That's insane. So that's essentially what you looked for last night, right? Because yesterday I put in, when I was taking it along, my idea was like it was a failed breakdown of 2 days worth of lows. I mean, one of them happened to be a weekly low, but it was still a 2-day failed breakdown, which usually when we have a 2-day failed breakdown, that's usually a high quality trade. They don't come very often. My scanner today says, you know, like it's not high quality trading. It's a short 2-sided trade and 1-star regime. I'm not really going to be. This is for the NQ. It says to lean long on NQ. And then on the S&P, it says 2-sided, but no direction, just kind of both ways. 1-star. Not really a fan of trading this kind of size with size. And you basically wait for that setup and size accordingly. Yeah. Which indicator to use? What do you mean indicator? What indicator for what? I have I mean, my charts right here, I have a bunch of indicators on here. You know, I have like VWAP and value areas, priority high, priority low, overnight high, overnight low. So I don't know what you mean. Oh, the structure just shifted to short on the S&P. I think that's because it's holding below the priority high though. That's probably why. But yeah, last night, you know, I'm in a profit going into today because of last night's long. So I'm not in a rush to do anything, but I do want to see how price resolves around the priority high. NQ is kind of testing it right now. And then it also is at the value or high from before, right? Let's see, that it's a prior value or high. Yeah. Let's see what the NQ does here. So if you're asking about this, are you asking about this, the structural bias? This is for the S&P, structural bias. This is for the NQ, structural bias. Oh. That little robot is telling me that the gap up on NQ is confirmed, so it's just telling me that we had a gap up day. It's insane that the S&P has such a mean reverting behavior on a higher time frame like that too. We do want to dance. No one ever taught you how to dance. There's a bunch of limit orders both ways. Like clustered. Today is just a bunch of passive trades both ways. Actually, no, I'm sorry, I lied. It's only to the upside. There's a lot of sellers waiting at the offer. Like stacked. There's a big one at 710. So you can see here 710, there's one order sitting at 250, 710. And most of them are clustered here, little smaller lots. How do I show all of them? I don't know how to do it. There's a bunch of slot clustered lots sitting right there, right above price, between the 89s, and then more 94, etc. Ah, not what I wanted to do. Man. Quiet but the music. And then so the reason I can see it is because here on the MBO chart, I can see that there's like a highlighted area for a bunch of orders sitting above price right now. They're red. And there's that 710 order right there. I just go to the DOM. I'm like, oh, what's it look like on the DOM? I'm currently doing one of previous day's high. Look, low failed breakout till you know results, and I'll email you. Cool. Always fun to see failed directional moves. Those are kind of like what I like to trade. That sounds great. Thanks, man. A lot of the trades that I've back tested, they're pretty much failed. Well, pretty much all of them are failed breakdowns. I have failed breakouts, but they're only of the overnight high failed breakouts under certain regimes. I haven't done higher time frame failed breakouts at all because, and I'm a little biased because I didn't really run the numbers, but from what I've seen, they don't typically work very well for failed breakouts. Failed breakdowns, I have a ton of different ones that I back tested with different combinations of structural openings. So like if the New York Open is X, and then I back tested what is the likelihood of a failed breakdown of the RTH value area low from the prior day to work. And then if it works, where is the highest percentage probability of the target? Is it the volume point of control, the VWAP, the first standard deviation, blah, blah, blah. So I've kind of done from there, but I haven't done failed breakouts. I've only done, I've only really done failed breakdowns. Right now, so it's always interesting to see other data, being ran that I haven't personally looked into. Like I haven't ran higher time frame failed breakdowns. So like weekly or monthly, things like that, I haven't back tested. What's the threshold you're using for that? Is it a multi-day close back above, or is it one daily close back above that monthly or weekly level? Or is there only a few hours of price action holding? How are you validating that? It continues to sell. One daily close? Okay, gotcha. You sent a file? Is the best way? Okay, gotcha. Daily closure is best, okay. I'm just curious because I've never done it. Back tested that. And that's where, the whole having the ability to backtest, I wasn't as easy as it is now. The backtest strategies, at least for day-to-day users. just looks like it's a gap and crap. We'll see. Abracadoosh. We're almost there. See if we can come into 78 area. Give me a second. Closure is best. We got a little bounce here. Let's see if it's gonna be anything meaningful. I wanted to see price go a little lower. Do have to step away a little bit to take my son to school. And Q is holding. Yeah. I like the NQ. It goes for long just because it's structurally a little better. And the edge log says too that it's better long on the NQ. I'm gonna answer that. Sometimes I get some questions and I'm not gonna waste my time. You ready? Okay, I'm coming, buddy. All right, well, I gotta go take my son to school. I'll be back in like 15. I wanted to get long NQ here, but I just... I might just wait till I get back to do it, because I don't... Not really... yeah, I'll be back, guys. Thanks, FH. 15 minutes. I do like the long on NQ, though. But I might have to wait it out just a little bit more.
All right. What happened? Like we had a dip all the way down to the valley area and then rejected the current valley area. This is a downtrend until further notice. My oh my. All right, well, we're back, and it looks like we had more further rejection. The IBL broke down. The call wall was definitely the savior today, huh? You just traded in favor of that? I was looking for a long, but certainly was not the case. 2 rejections, clean ones too. I didn't take this trade, but I was more looking for a long bias today. Where's the window that I had open here? Clean long on the NQ, but it did not work. It did not work. Looks like they, yeah, I'm glad I didn't take the long. I was trying to take it right here at the 40s on NQ. I would have been smacked. Interesting. Let's see. Dollars are definitely putting in work. I guess what happens here is Toxie says it's a failed breakout of the failed breakdown here to current day high. Oh, you mean like, I think he meant here. Right here. Yeah, it almost came into the target. Just shy of it. By what, 5 points? Almost had it. Pretty nasty setup. Pretty nasty gap up and fail. Look at that. Held and then came all the way down to 60. That's crazy, the dip. Whatever that was. That was probably some news, huh? What does the newswire say? I have just been informed by the Navy that all mines have been removed, detonated from within the internal. It looks like this was the news right here. Iran has been notified that any ships, or boat placing new mines will immediately be systematically destroyed. Ah, see. And you got that quick? Okay. Yeah, so this is the tweet. I have a newswire that kind of has 22 different sources of news. One of them is not working. I gotta fix that. 21 sources of news that pass through a newswire that I have. Those are probably the most important ones right now. Like, what's that headline? The other stuff is Fed Collins. That was earlier though. Inflation is too high. Buyers are fucked if it gets below this. Let's see. I think so. I think if we hold below 73s, especially below that 60, oh, for sure. But holding below 73, man, cooked. I think the fact that it's holding below it, I'm gonna wait and see how this pans out. But the setup. Oh, that's not what I'm trying to do. Setup I'd be eyeing is a return back to VWAP to see if they reject the priority high again. Right here, short there. You know, like I said earlier, like I didn't know if this was gonna happen, but a bounce that goes into this area and then fades, that would be probably the best long short setup back into this area here. The 80s, mid 80s or so. We're about 10 points away right now. They bought it immediately? No way. You know, this happened. When did this happen too? We had a spike like this going into the initial balance. I feel like this happened recently too. I just don't remember what day it was. I like the fact that NQ is holding the current month value area low. That is something that I do like. Yes. So I do like the failed breakdown on NQ of the failed breakdown. Just the fact that NQ is holding the current month value area low. I've been referencing that level for a couple weeks now. Or just a little bit over a week. Just because we're ending the month here. Spike below it and holding. I do like the NQ there. Kind of hard to be sure because a lot of the sectors are still floating green. If you look at the top of my head, a lot of them are still floating around green right there. Somewhere around there, there's like the sectors of the market. Not much, you know, red there. Although we have some interesting movement, the sectors are not really fading out completely. They're holding steady. For a walk, they came back to your entry, huh? Holy shit. I just realized, yeah, you're long from 65. They literally probed right into it. And Q's holding the priority high there. Not bad. Let's see if we can hold Mr. NQ. Again, I like the NQ long. Just because the bias for the NQ is the one that's bullish. Lean long on NQ, and then on the S&P it says short. I'm more inclined to be long NQ. But I gotta see how it resolves here. The best confidence I have is they didn't
take the overnight low. They did not. That's also true. Yeah. They missed it by a few points. The NQ, I would have liked it a little closer to this area. That way I could get long, scale at VWAP, and then just hold the rest for potential continuation. For now, I just will wait to see if I get a second shot at that entry at 200s on the NQ. I got your email, by the way. Thanks for sending it over. Check it out later today. Yeah. The risk level for the bears this morning, it worked perfectly, dude. The report this morning on the NQ said that bears were at risk below, sorry, bulls were at risk below on 404. And that was the high, bro. That's why I have that risk level up here on my chart. Let's see. Yeah, check it out. This morning, this is the NQ. The report said long capitulation risk, bear thesis, buyers trapped above price, committed near 394 to 405. A hold below 394 keeps the capitulation risk building, meaning bulls can capitulate. Forcing long selling adds fuel to the move down. It closed back above 405, lets them off the hook, and level hold as support. At 405, fucking high of the morning. Yeah, boy. Pretty good report if you ask me. Didn't trade it at. I didn't trust, well, I didn't trust that. I had my own thesis this morning. It wasn't anything to do with that report, so I didn't even consider the long risk, the risk level. Yeah, the thing I like about it is that, like, it's non-biased. It's all just data-driven. There's no, like, there's no lean on it. It's just, all it's doing is reading inventory and then finding where the imbalance is, and then just kind of telling you, hey, based on the inventory, it looks like if price holds below X, Y, or X, there's a potential for capitulation risk because the inventory is skewed in one direction up here. And it's like it could be right or wrong, but all it's doing is just giving you inventory risk. So there's no bias, there's nothing. Just simply telling you where orders were filled. And this is, they just started running this report within the last, I think, 3 weeks now. So it's relatively new. I don't have a lot of data to, you know, speak on how good it is not, but I can tell you a few times it has worked already. On the S&P, it gave the a big huge 50-point squeeze risk level 2 weeks ago at the 780s. It said if price held over 780s, there was a squeeze potential, and it certainly did that, which was this day right here. This day, the report came out this day, and it said over 780 there was a squeeze risk, and that's exactly what happened. They squeezed out all this. So it's pretty good. I mean, it does give you some pretty good information, and it won't develop a new squeeze risk level unless the volume is sufficient. So there's a threshold where it will not provide a new squeeze level or capitulation level unless there's a certain threshold imbalance. So it'll keep the same level as long as the variables are true. The price can go up or down away from the level, but it doesn't mean that a new level will generate based on just price moving. It's based on it's based on metrics. It's based on actual inventory. It doesn't move around with price, so to speak. It stays static based on actual volume transacted. That's the anchor. Ah, no, I didn't post the oh well. Because the ES positioning report is the same level. Well, for like 4 days or 3 days, the positioning level was 744 through 750. Now it's shifted to 671 to 681. So right now the risk is here on the S&P. 671 to 81. So it needs to bulls need to hold above that, otherwise bears get control back. So the short squeeze risk, the bull thesis is sellers trapped below price, which is the 681 to 671. Okay, we're back to the current month. Here it is. Is this gonna hold or what? What? See, in Q, this is the area I was hoping for. Where the chippies at? Doing all right. Chips are okay. They're holding the gap, but man, not very fun here. You don't matter when you start back inside yesterday's range. Difference is the difference. Okay, so I like this area here. We'll buy here. Like I said earlier, I wanted to see this zone hold at the current month VAL. We'll bid it here. But I'm only going to take it with one lot. Not going to take it with two. I'll let it scale me out. You added at 75, so I get, okay. I'm going to get long in Q here, but I'm only going to want to have one lot. This area. I certainly do not want to have too much risk on. I'm already green overnight. I don't really care to increase my risk here. Actually, you know what? It's only 170 risk. That's fine. The scale, though, is going to be tight. I don't know how much momentum they can get out of here. This is a critical level to be holding over for bulls. If they fade below it, below the value area, the current month, 200, I would assume this just fades back down to the parity close at 131 and then maybe even lower. We'll see.
4 hour on the NQ looks ugly. I just gotta hold this value area right here. Again, this zone. You have a current month value area low, and you have the current day, the current session value area low as well. If that gets me back into VWAP, where I'll de-risk, honestly. I'm not really I have high conviction on this long, although I do like NQ more than the S&P for longs, like I said this earlier. Because the S&P has a short bias today. The NQ has a two-sided bias. Teaches the salvation. Be right back. All right. You sell any more puts lately, FH? Not yet. Okay, cool. I had a scan of any strikes, but I'm going to this week, I think. Okay. You have like a filter, I assume? Oh, NQ's going. Okay. Looks like the long setup here. Again, the monthly value low is the area I liked. It's more of a condition I'm looking for. Just pay really good. Gotcha. Makes sense. You want to get good get value for your risk. So hey, that's really good good metric, honestly. Good value for the risk. Am I getting ripped off or am I getting a good deal? You know? The metrics of a true trader. You know? It's always like, what's the value in return for my risk? Like that's the #1 filter for risk management, right? Is this rip off right now? Trying to buy this or not? Long plays on option spreads and directional. Sucked last week. Oh, I can see why. I mean, look, we've gone nowhere. You know, you're probably like the delta's probably high, and then the movement's not paying. What's that? Let's see. Still open from earlier your call. RTH. Ah, it's Mr. Sean. I'm just gonna call you Sean. Mr. Sean, if you want a better one, just click on the link in the description or the pin comment. It's gonna be the best one. That classifier is an old one, which I have to remove probably. Let's do that. Let's see, dashboard. That one works. I mean, you can use that link, but I recommend the one in the pin comment. It's gonna be better. NQ's just went limp, huh? Alright, I'll just go down to one lot. I'm only gonna have one lot. Will you make a new video about Dom? No, probably not. What do you want to know about the Dom? I mean, I can make them, but honestly, like, I can make one video more about the Dom that I think is useful. Only one more, and after that, I really don't have much else. Everything's the same. Like, nothing changes about the Dom. There's like, I've made maybe 3 or 4 videos about the Dom, and I think that's like everything you need to know about it. Price, pace, participation, the 3 P's. Price, pace, participation. That's it. You can filter your entire view of what's happening on the Dom based on those 3 metrics. That's all you need to know. More videos do not mean more videos does not mean more better. You know, it's just gonna be me repeating the same stuff, you know. Like it's not useful. About failing every time. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Well, here's the thing, like, can you be more specific before we go into that? You don't know what you're doing wrong. I need specifics. The more you simplify, the better. Yeah, don't overcomplicate the Dom. You don't need to know every nuanced thing that's happening on it. Like tape just woke up. Look at the tape pace right now. Rick's Dom video I started for months. Like I don't need it. Every day I reference the Dom. I am always looking at it. I'm always commenting on it when it's relevant. I always comment on it. If you go back to yesterday's live stream, I commented on the Dom on the ES at 662. If you go back to the Dom, if you go back to price action yesterday on the S&P, 662 was the low of the morning, or like not the exact low, it was a few points, but it was within 5 points of the low, or 7 points, give or take. And it wasn't complicated. It was very simple. I said, look at the participation as we break the prior week low.
Volume is tapering off. There's no interest to sell below. I'm going to try a long here. And it was that simple. I didn't need to like go into very nitty gritty information. I definitely scaled that NQ long too early. Here's the 3Ps. The 3Ps right there. Look, yesterday's long. It was at, what was the price? The price was the prior week low. The prior week low is 658. I noticed price action at 662, 4 points within there. What was the participation going into a prior week low? None, non-existent. They didn't want to sell into it. What was the pace? Non-existent. It was very slow. If you watch it live, if you have the opportunity to watch it live, I recommend that probably the best value for your time than trying to watch another video on it. Because we can have dialogue about what's going on, what you're seeing, what I'm seeing, etc. My ad was the right choice. Definitely was. Nice one, nice ad. You bought at the right price too. At 75, that's perfect. What a fucking ad. Yeah, I might watch the previous lives. Yeah, I would recommend watching yesterday's. I reference the Dom often, you know? And the thing is, like, it's those, just remember the 3Ps. That's all. I know in one of the videos I talked about that. And I still do it now, you know, like every day. 3Ps. Price? Where's the price? And it's not always the value areas. You have to be open mind to not only value areas, but rather overnight low, prior day low, prior week low. You have to have all the levels, because sometimes those levels are stacked, or sometimes the value area is a little higher than the prior day low or the overnight low. So there's not really, you're not really getting the right gauge. It's not always a value area, although most times it is. Like this morning, if you go back to this morning's live stream, I said this morning, there is a lot of volume trading between 93 to 90. There's a ton of net selling there. There's a ton of sellers there, passive or not passive. They were active because it was filling at the ask. I assumed incorrectly. I assumed that they would the price would reclaim above those sellers and squeeze. So I simply just did not take a trade, and I waited to see if they would reclaim the 93 for a long, because I saw that cluster of selling between 90 and 93 on the DOM. But what was actually happening was that the sellers were in control, and you could have leaned short against that cluster of selling. You could have been short in favor of that move with those sellers in mind. I didn't do that, right? I didn't consider that. So, you know, I was more looking for a bias long. And that's okay. Like, it wasn't my trade to take. I'm not gonna kick myself for missing that trade. I don't really care. But if you go back to the commentary, I highlighted a key area where volume was transacting, which was at 93. It was here at this part of the day. This is where I was commenting on, and it broke down. So the DOM tells me where to look. I just stare at it. Not all the time, but passively I glance at it. And the thing is, like, the DOM isn't going to give you everything either. It's not like a one-all, tell-all kind of thing either. By the way, is there a Discord? Oh, no, not really. I mean, I have one, but it's not really a commentary. Just a bunch of data that I have. The reports that I pull. So, no, there's not. There's a Substack if you want to read that, if you want to join it, like a chat or something, but there's a Discord. It's only for just Only for reports. If there's a chat you want to join, it's for some sort of community. I mean, I do have a Substack. You can try that. I do comment on that. That's the only thing. I don't know what you're looking for a Substack for. What is the purpose? Review my reads at the DOM. I don't comment on DOM reads on a chat. I don't comment on them. I comment on them here on the live stream, but that's it. I don't document my reads on the DOM. I document my trade entries based on structural bias and failed breakdowns. That I do comment on, like failed breakdown setups. That you will see a lot of. You know, the integrity of the way I trade, like the structure of that I trade, the setups that I look for, which is like failed breakdowns. That you will see a lot of, and sometimes that will be a comment on the DOM. Sometimes there will be a confirmation coming from the DOM. Sometimes there will be a confirmation coming from structural levels holding. Sometimes that will be from a VWAP holding, etc., etc. But it will never be only from the DOM. I am not an exclusively DOM only trader. So I just want to clear that up. I am not exclusively trading only the DOM. I use it for confluence. I use it as a barometer for confluence. I feel like most people think that I exclusively trade the DOM only. I don't know if I've made that. I don't know if that's the way I interpreted the videos or tailor around them, but I use it as a tool for trading. It's a tool. The NQ long was perfect. Like I said, the reason I wanted the long there was that higher time frame level, that current month value area low. It's a massive area, and it continues to be. And it's holding from above support 3 times, right? Look at 1, 2, 3. That's gonna be a reference area coming into tomorrow or later in the session. I scaled that second lot way too early. Could have just held it through, but hey, it's fine. I had a nice long overnight. NQ is up about 50 points from the long area. I got long at 22s, and it's up already at 72, 73, counting. The VP, the point of control is where, probably will I'll take it, 303, okay. Oh, it's right there. I'll take it at 303, at the point of control area. We haven't broken the overnight high either, huh? Interesting. Did we break that? Yeah, we did. Get high ran through. I think they're gonna ram it, dude. It seems like if you look at the tape, the way it's moving, it's like it's inching into that area, and it looks like it's gonna squeeze past it if it gets momentum past it. We're going into Euro close too. Because the NQ is already above the party high. Oh, wait, I go bite. Mr. Sean, I have a question for you. You look at all the sectors are green now. You got chips green. You got Mag 7 green. They were the ones red in the morning. Things really flipped here. I think Sean's gone. Sean, I had a question for your brother. They're right at the Pirate High. They really have to bust through this area, because this is what I don't want to see, is them hit this area and then reject and go lower. We'll see what happens in this zone. It is what people do. They come into a stream, they want to get some sort of, like, I don't know, like shortcut or cheat or some way, and then they leave. They go to the next stream, the next guy that's out that live to go copy him or whatever. That's where you get fucked, bro. This is how people are. Watch, check it out. This is how people are. Check this out. They'll be talking to you. They'll be learning, trying to get information, right? Like one dialogue back and forth. Right? Hey there, squirrel. Distracted. Boom. Like you talk to them for like a minute, then they go to the next shiny object, and then they wonder why things don't work out. There's no commitment, you know. They speak as though there is commitment, but in reality, there's none. Their actions show none of it. Oh shoot! I didn't mean to look. It's bullshit. They're lying to themselves and everyone around them. A little bit of a spike there. This is exactly what I wanted to see into this area, like a spike. Now it just has to hold. If it holds, we can get continuation. Dang, spike and then right back. See if it holds or not. Balance months on books, videos, the diligence, commitment, improve every day. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like that commitment is what it takes. And dude, a lot of hold on, a lot of your offers are just stacking. Oh, look at this. They're stacked right there. Look at that. Tons of supply is just building up from 85 to 91. My oh my. I don't know if they're gonna run past them or not, but I'm gonna keep it open. I don't know if it means anything. You got tons of loss just showed up after that spike. But the commitment, you know, shiny object syndrome is what it's called. Shiny object syndrome. Did they just squeeze past all of them? Where'd my Dom go? My Dom just disappeared. What the fuck? What? My Dom isn't even opening now. What is going on? Move it over. Dude, something's going on with price here. Volume's getting filled. My Dom's like going in the background. Here it is. Those orders left. Either that or they got filled. I don't know. If they start holding above the 90s, I'll buy more, because those offers, they likely got filled and they'll be stuck. So we'll see. It was going nuts. Yeah, I see that. If they hold above 90, I think it's a good sign to buy more. For me, I'll probably do that. This is looking pretty good for a freaking massive squeeze. See if it holds or not, but I want to see a 90s first. Main area has to hold. They supported, I mean, the bilateral high from yesterday. That's pretty bullish. Not bad. Not bad. They just got to break out, continue. I gotta pop 5 more points. The NQ hit the point of control perfectly, man. I should have had my scale there, huh? I'm sure there's a reason the tape spiking like that. The amount of hours people I've studied, yeah. It is. S&P still holding steady here. That's great. So far, it's holding as supply. They're holding steady. Volume came in and then just kind of tapered off. Alright, I'm just gonna call it here, honestly. Call it a day. No continuation, no momentum. Apes kind of falling back into where we were. I'll lock in the green day and just wrap it up here. I'll be here for a little bit just watching, but I'm just not gonna push the envelope here unless I get something clean. You gotta go for a walk? Alright, man. Take care of FH. Thanks for being here, brother. Oh.
Alright, well. Stuck here in supply. Gotta break 90s. If this breaks 90s, you got a nice little leg going, but if it does not, we'll probably just come back down lower again. Back into the 70s. We're rejecting all the VWAPs so far from above. Okay, it wants to do continuation in the opposite direction. Or in favor of the current rotation. Like this. Because of the VWAP and the party high not being able to reclaim. They might just go lower again. For me, though, when this trend flips, it's quite simply holding above this 90 area to go back higher. So I think I'm kind of glad I sold my NQ. The only thing I wish I had was my limit order was a little higher. Anyway, I'm gonna end the stream here. I had a solid day. P&L curve looks just as it should, up and to the right. I had the reason I didn't really transact too much was because I was long last night here. You can see that I was long on ES and NQ last night. I was able to get the overnight long play. I didn't really want to press this morning, given the quality wasn't really that high. Long, scale, 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 and then scale the last lot right there. Long right here at 69 on S&P, scale, scale, scale. So I didn't really trade much during the RTH today. I tried this long at the NQ here. I botched the scales along here based on that current month value area. Could have scaled one here and then the other one at right where point of control was, but it is what it is. I'll end it here and back tomorrow, guys.